Hello everyone, this is Dan Kaiser, and I just finished a killer, like the best 10-minute ab workout that I've done in a really long time. And so at the end of this video, we'll get to the workout. But first, I'd like to go over some of the technique involved in performing these exercises correctly. So if you're new to the channel, please like it, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let's get started. All right, in this section, let's familiarize with some of the exercise that we'll be doing for the workout. Bend knee, V-ups, just draw the navel in. And know that you have to engage your TVA or transverse abdominis for all of these exercises, including the arm circles. Here, you're just doing these hops as fast as you can, moving your arms forwards for 20 and then backwards for 20 reps, engaging that transverse abdominis. Here, again, the TVA is engaged, and here notice that my head is resting in my hands. I'm not pulling on my head. I'm drawing all the energy. My power comes from the belly button, and my body's just following and twisting to engage those obliques. Skiers, once again, the TVA is engaged. The core is working here. And for those of you guys that aren't familiar with transverse abdominis, I'll put a link in the description of this video to show you another video that we talked about in great detail, the TVA activation, glutes and your obliques, all that stuff. Here, the Russian twist, the knees have to be touching. That's the one thing you got to remember. Knees are touching. Mountain climber is another great core cardio exercise. Don't worry about touching those elbows. The one thing to think about is to keep your back completely straight, just like Joy's doing. Forgot to demo this at the gym, so I'm doing this at home. The swimmers, draw the navel in, back is flat on the ground, the legs are moving closer to the ground, is harder. Higher in the ceiling is a little bit easier. This is a really challenging move, actually. The speed skater, there's a lot going on. I don't want that leg in the air to trail over the opposite foot. And so what has to happen is I'm turning through my spine in order to decelerate. The old classic, bicycles. We'll do 50 of these in the workout. Notice how, once again, the idea is not to touch the knee to the elbows, to keep the back flat. This has to be straight. The TVA is engaged. You're not pushing on or pulling on your head. Oh, everybody's favorite, burpees. Here we go. I think this is self-explanatory. Just keep your core engaged as you jumping up and down, doing push-ups. Now, the tabletop reach-ups, I'm not too happy with this form, to be honest with you. The idea is to keep your spine neutral. You don't have to reach up with the head like I'm doing, just reaching up to the ceiling. And this is another variation of like a jumping jack, crisscross jacks, but now the arms and legs are going across your body, instead of, side to side and overhead in the traditional exercise. Now, dynamic plank. For this one, we're going to do 20 leg raises. Notice how the plank itself, the spine is still neutral, right? And after you're doing the 20 leg raises, you start with the knee hikes. And again, the spine doesn't move, just the legs are moving. And finally, we're going to get into these jumping lunges. Once again, drawing your navel in, keeping your back nice and straight as you're jumping. We're going to finish strong with this one. This is a hard exercise, but oh boy, I think we're ready. Now that you know what you're getting yourself into, once again, this is the workout. Let's flex. Yeah, I think she's doing it in the wrong camera. Ooh, flexing this camera, Joy. Here we go. Okay, ready. What are we doing here? Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't know either. Yeah, we'll just wing it. Right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Starting with the V-ups. Okay, so just want to remind you to draw that navel in. The back has to be flat on the ground as you're doing these. And so what helps me is as soon as I bring my arms forward, I bring my knees in, draw that navel, and I just keep going like that for 20 repetitions. I think that's all we're doing for this beginner's version of a 10-minute best core exercise. And if you notice, Joy's not even dropping her legs to the ground as much. Her legs are in the air when she bends the knees, a little bit harder. Feel free to do it or try that variation and let us know which one you like better. And here we go with the shoulder hops. And I like what Joy's doing. She's moving her arms forward first. She's going to do 20 forward hops followed by 20 backwards hops.
I like that because when you bring your arms forward, when you make forward circles, it could potentially bring your shoulders forward. I mean, for the lack of a better term, or internally rotated. And so then when you finish off with bringing your arms backwards, it's going to restore proper shoulder position, prepare you for all the other exercises. Next, we got the chillin' side crunch. Again, I want to remind you not to pull on your head. Their spine is always neutral, meaning it's completely straight. And I'm just leaning or reaching with the left elbow to the right knee. I'm not curving my spine. I'm not bending it. I'm just twisting at the mid-back. The thoracic spine is the only place in the human body, in the spine rather, that is meant to rotate. And so that's the part, the mid-back is what we're using to rotate through these exercises in order to engage our inner and outer obliques. It burns. All right, now here we go for the skiers. You'll notice that I think I realize that I'm a little bit off where I'm supposed to be, so I'm moving backwards so you guys can see me. You can see my head, like you don't know what I'm doing. Anyways, just like I explained earlier, the back leg is the one you touch with your hand, and you just keep alternating like that for 50 hops. Keep your navel drawn in, keep your core engaged for all of these. It's imperative that your spine is stabilized as you're moving through life, whether it's running, jumping, swimming, lifting weights. Remember, the core has to stabilize your spine. Russian twist. You guys remember the one thing, the most important thing to do when you're doing this Russian twist? It's the one thing that I'm not doing. That's holding your knees together. You got to keep your knees touching as much as you can. It's so easy to let them separate. But the inner thighs and your core have a direct correlation. The more you engage your inner thighs, the more your core works, and vice versa. And so it's really important to keep those knees touching. You can use a ball or like a little foam roller you can stick between your legs. It might help you keep that connection between your legs. Oh, here we go. This one can get crazy. And so I like how Joy's hips are staying low. Mine are going up and down a little bit. I don't like that as much. That signifies that my core isn't engaged optimally. And the idea, I think it's because I'm moving too fast. I'm trying to go a little bit faster. It's better not to move fast, but to keep your spine as straight as you can. It's okay occasionally, but for the most part, you got to keep that spine neutral, especially if you're lifting weights. Here, gravity is the only form of resistance, so it's a little bit, you can get away with a little more, but still, I prefer Joy's form way more than what I was doing. I was rushing. Okay, now for the swimmers. I'm putting my hands behind my head, and I'm actually pushing my head down. I'm creating almost like a pillow or a cradle for my head to rest in as I'm focusing on my core. Joy's hardcore. She's just straightening the arms behind her head. It's way harder. So the further you reach away from the fulcrum, being your core, right? In physics, the further you reach away, the harder, the heavier, the more intense everything becomes, right? So if you wanted to make this exercise easier, just bringing your hands, putting them on your thighs, for instance, would be way easier than reaching back behind your head. Uh-oh, I think we're starting to get a little tired. Oh, someone's excited. Here we go. Look at that. This is a beginner's version, so I don't think Joy is as stimulated as I am. And so here we go. The speed skaters. So here, remember, the leg that's in the air cannot cross the foot that's on the ground. And the way you stop it from tracking over to the side is by rotating through that mid-back, right? Bringing the opposite arm down fast and hard. To make this exercise more intense, you can jump further out, or you can obviously go faster. Oh, I think the workout is starting. Like, I think we're both starting to feel it. Bicycles, here we go. Our forms are a little different. Joy, I think she seems to prefer to just straighten her leg, bring the knee in, straighten her leg. I like to kind of sweep my feet as if I'm actually riding a bicycle. But again, neither one of us is pulling on the head. We're not tugging. All the power, all the focus comes from the core. That's where all the movement starts from. And so the head, the arms, the legs, that's just happening after the core is engaged. Oh, I'm telling you, we're starting to feel this thing. Oh boy, no wonder. For all of these, we take a 5-second break between all the exercises. Yeah. Now there's a rep count for all of them. You can do 20 or 50, I think, is the rep count for some of them. Also, what you can do is do this whole circuit for time. You can do it for 40 seconds on, and then 5 seconds, take a little break to get to the next exercise. And really, by doing it at 40 seconds, the duration should be approximately 10 minutes. These are gonna burn. I know they look easy, but honestly, positioned here in this portion of the workout, they're gonna kill you, and in a good way. And if I'm being honest, since we're talking about the positioning, the sequence of exercises is probably the most important thing after the form. The way you schedule, the way you sequence all your workouts is the most important thing. That's where the trainers or the biomechanics specialists come in. They will make sure that all the muscles are engaging or firing off at proper sequences, and they know how to lead from one exercise to the other to make sure that while ones are working, the other ones are recovering, or at some points the complementary muscles start to work a little bit harder. Anyways, just know that the sequence of exercise, at least with Kaiser Fitness Institute, is probably the most important thing after the form itself. Nice. And here we go with the cross crash jacks. Now, definitely draw your navel in. I don't know what Joy's doing. She's got her own form going. This is way harder. That looks like some kind of dance. All right, let's not look at her. I don't say that often, but let's not look at her. Look at my form. And you'll notice how when the left leg comes over, the left arm comes over. When the right arm and leg comes over, it goes in opposite direction. So everything is matched perfectly. And she's doing something funny, and that's why she's exhausted, or she's throwing her sweat at me. Is that what she's doing? No, that's not what she's doing. I got plenty of my own. Trust me. Now for the dynamic plank, I wanted to turn around so you guys can see the back view. In retrospect, probably should have had Joy turn around and me facing forward. Anyways, here I'm trying to lift my leg up from the point where the white or the yellow line underneath my butt, where the leg meets the butt, or ischium tuberosity. That's the place where I'm trying to draw my strength from when I lift, so that my spine doesn't move, quite frankly. If you try to move your butt, if you move from your butt, sometimes that'll lift your hips up. And so same with the knee hikes. I'm drawing my navel in, and I'm trying to reach like the side of my shoulder with my knee. I'm keeping my legs as close to the ground as I can. Joy decided to do her on straight arms. This is a straight arm plank variation. It's a little bit harder on your upper body. And that's okay, because the last exercise is really, really hard on the lower body. And here we go. Let's finish strong. Jumping lunges. I keep my hands by my head. And Joy started to propel her body upwards with her arms. Smart. Very effective or efficient way to do this exercise. I'm still sitting in my core, drawing my navel in. Legs are feeling heavy at this point. Sweating profusely. Trust me, this is a burner. Even though this is a beginner 10-minute workout, it was hard. This is really hard. I hope you guys did this with us, or if you do this afterwards, let us know how you did. Please comment below. That was tough. hope you enjoyed this one. And please let us know whatever else we that we can work on and we can make. We love making these videos, and we're more than happy to make some more for you guys. Until next time, aloha.